Check Podcasts.
Hi, I'm Bruce Williams. I'm the CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to Chamber Chats, coming to you, as always, from the podcasting studios here at the Czech Media Group, one of our chamber champions. I'd like to acknowledge, as always, that I live and work in the lands of the Lekwungen-speaking nations known to us as the Songhees and Kosapsum. And all of this is made possible by the support of Island Savings, a division of First West Credit Union, who are changing what banking can do for people, for community, and for the planet. This is the 208th time I have said that. This is also the last time I'll be saying that. As I think you probably know, I'm stepping down from my role as CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce after 5 years. And replacing me in that role is him. This guy that's with me, John Wilson, is the incoming CEO. John, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Bruce. Honored to be your last guest.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning of a whole new era for the Chamber. You're coming in. You've been with the Chamber for 16 years, though, right? You've done on a role on the board.
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, our company's
13 years, sorry.
Yeah, 13. Just ended up in December there, and our company's been members for many, many years past that. So certainly enjoyed my time with the Chamber up to date, and looking forward to taking on this new exciting role, filling some large shoes.
This is, well, different shoes. Let's just put it that way. It's been a pivotal time for the Chamber, that's for sure. You're a guy who's known to so many in this town because you're found your third generation of your family, of the Wilsons group, that's coming in right now. Your kids are taking over from a lot of what you've been doing. But you were born and raised here.
I was, yeah. I was born and raised in Saanich and spent my whole life here in my mom and dad's business. Second generation, actually. The kids are the third generation coming in. And we're very proud of our family's business, and we've worked hard to stick with our core business of transportation, but we've expanded into the community, of course, with the Harbor Cats, hockey teams, things like that. And we've always had the motto of giving back as much or more to the community than we take out. And it's a good time for the third generation, my nephew, my son, my daughter, to be taking the reins. And I'm looking forward to this new challenge ahead of us.
And there will be some, but there's great opportunity in any challenge at all, and I know you're up to that. But talk to me about the town that you grew up in. When you were a kid, what do you remember about Victoria? What's different about it then compared to now?
Well, back then we used to ride our bike downtown to go shopping, so that's a big difference for sure. When we're like 10 years old, so it's a very different. But cities get larger. I don't hold that against the city. It's almost like the Commonwealth Games. We look back at the Commonwealth Games as where it let the secret out of Victoria, right? A lot of the world got to see what this place was all about, and it has grown exponentially since then. You talk to a lot of people, including yourself. I imagine they come for work, or they come visit family, and they just say, I'm moving here, right?
Yeah.
Or if they get transferred here, and they say, I'm staying here if they get transferred out. So it's been a large growth in our community, but that's okay. We just had some structural challenges along the way, I think, particularly with 13 municipalities, as we've talked about,
a lot of
and
moving
things like
parts.
that. And but it's still a very special place, as you know, and people who come here and buy in and get it do quite well here in business. Those who try to bring a big city mentality maybe to Greater Victorian business struggle, and hopefully they adjust and do well. But of course, the Chamber's here to help all businesses, particularly our members, excel and thrive. And as this region grows, there's more opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, we've seen all that growth happen over these many years. However, compared to back in the day, some things are still the same. What's still the same about living here for you?
What's still the same about living? The people.
Yeah.
The people are right. They're down to earth, very friendly, very community-driven place. The volunteer network here, the philanthropy here is amazing, right? And what we can get done here is incredible. And we punch well above our weight in a lot of areas, and I'm very proud of what the city has done, and some of the events that I've been part of, you've been part of, that we've pulled off here to put certainly the national stage on Victoria, but in some cases the world stage in Victoria. and we continue to do that with 400 under half a million population, and of course the beautiful scenery and the weather we have is something that just seems to be getting better by the year.
Yeah, you're in Canada's tropics
Hmm.
is where we are. So when you were a younger guy, the economy was different. I mean, the largest sector of our economy now is technology,
Right.
which is kind of a generic term for so many things. There was no technology when you and I were kids. What was driving the economy back then?
What was driving the economy back then? That's a good question. Tourism has always been a big piece of the economy and still is.
Yeah.
It's still nipping on IT as far as the economy is concerned. As far as the
Yeah.
economy was concerned. But I think there was a lot more industrial back then, for sure. We know
Well,
that
the Inner Harbor for
the
sure.
Inner Harbor,
Yeah.
the James Bay area, I was going to mention, there was logging trucks and fuel trucks going through that James Bay. There's some pushback on motor coaches and the cruise ship industry now, but compared to what it was, 40, 50 years ago, it's a much cleaner and better environment now than it was then.
Because
So,
Laurel Point was a paint factory, I believe. Is that right?
yeah, and there was an Esso gas
A
factory
refinery.
where
Yeah.
a refinery right on around the corner from like right where the Coast Hotel is now,
Yep.
and right there. And it was I remember going around in my truck, my dad's truck as a little one, and it was a different time. It was a different place. We had the Woco department stores delivery contract back in the day, and I used to go as a little one in my dad's truck and go around town and deliver furniture, and it was back then, Woco and Town and Country Shopping Center was the largest department store in on Vancouver Island. Really,
Mhm.
people came down from Campbell River to buy furniture, and so it. There's definitely not only the growth in the South Island, but the growth in the North Island as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, hmm.
And we've seen all this come along in a fairly measured fashion until the last maybe couple of generations. It's just gone boom, right? It's
Yes,
gone through the roof
yeah.
with all the stuff that's been happening. So through these travels of business with your family and everybody else, who stand out in your mind as people that were really pivotal in the business community? Like drop some names, people that were
Well,
influential.
someone's quite a family that's quite fresh because we just lost her this week is in Joe Campbell,
Yeah.
Alec and Joe Campbell and the Thrifty Foods family.
Hmm.
They're of course Alec Jr. and Lauren and Bonnie are still in the community, but that family really led the way, I think, as far as a family business that took on the big boys, if you will, back in the day,
Yeah.
and were successful because of the environment on Vancouver Island, southern Vancouver Island, and people supporting local companies and the companies giving back to the community. As we know, Thrifty's still a great business here in the South Island. Maybe doesn't give back as much to the communities as back in the day when the Campbell family owned it, but that's just the nature of corporate Canada, if you
Hmm.
will. But that is definitely one family, the Farmer family, Terry Farmer, Murray Farmer.
Hmm.
Terry Farmer is my hero in business. He is a kind man, and took me as a young gentleman in some social settings where I felt out of place, and basically put his arm around me and said, "Come with me. I'm going to introduce you to people." And
Nice.
I still tear up thinking about it today. But Terry knows that every time I see him, call him my hero, and he's just a superhuman being. And hopefully we can continue on. I can continue. I and others can continue on their what they gave to this community and teach the next generations about how we can keep this community very locally active, and teach businesses, particularly local businesses, how important it is to give back.
Yeah. So many names we could talk about, but we're going to do a little bit of that later on. In the meantime, want to talk about what drew you into the Chamber Network in the first place, and we're going to do that next. Our guest on Chamber Chats today is John Wilson, who you have always known as the president and CEO of the Wilson's Group of Companies. John is taking over the position that I currently hold as CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce, and this is our last Chamber Chat. So this is the handover thing here. So one thing you and I have in common is that we both work for our dad,
Right.
right? Family-owned business. You've carried that on. Nobody in my family carried on our family business, but there's a dynamic that comes with family-owned businesses. And you talked earlier about the farmers and families like that
Yes.
who have been a part of growing their own business, but the economy along with it. The dynamic of a family business.
Well, it's funny. It's a challenge for the family outright. We always have these conversations, but I always bring to bring to light the challenge it is for the significant other,
Oh, yeah.
the person marrying in, coming into the family. It is a real challenge to understand why you're sitting at the Christmas table talking about a bus run that happened that day.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's very tough for them, and I always make sure that we have those conversations around, and we try to keep the business away from the dinner table. My mom was big on that. My wife was big on that.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
but it always comes up, right? So it is. So that is a big challenge in family businesses. It's nice. It is nice. It's a warm feeling, but it also takes a lot of work. And I can tell you in our family, and I'm sure other family run businesses in our family, if your last name's Wilson, you got to be 200% working compared to the 100% you'd want, just because the expectation level, not only internally by the family, but externally by other team employees, is higher because they're automatically thinking you're coming in because you're daddy's little girl or something like
Yeah.
that. So that is always a challenge, I'm sure, in every family-run business. But I'm very proud of ours, and I'm very proud of my family, and I think they're phenomenal people, and I think they do a phenomenal job. And and that obviously that's why I'm feeling very comfortable with our company being handed down to the third generation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you won't be far away.
I won't be far away.
I don't know if you ever found this, but my family operated a bakery. I've mentioned that before. We owned and operated a bakery. And my dad would get me to do the worst possible jobs in that place. He
Yeah.
said, well, if I can't ask somebody else to do it if I don't get you to do it.
For sure.
And I always wanted to say, well, why don't you do it then? But I never did. But that's the way you learn, right? That's what you learn from.
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad made sure we all started, washing buses and dumping washrooms in the buses and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So you kind of, and it does help you in your journey, because you often are able to manage others in the similar job, knowing that you did it yourself. So it does help for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
You're also known for your involvement with sports. You have been for your entire life. Sports
Right.
ownership, you've been a coach, you've been all of those things.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What's the dynamic of sports ownership? How does that differ from day-to-day business? Or what's the same as day-to-day business?
It's a lot different, but I'll tell you the background in it. Anyways, the bus business, as you can imagine, in sports, amateur sports, pro sports, it's an integral part. Transportation is an integral part of sports. So we became involved, both from playing and then with my son playing, and we became involved in a lot of teams in their transportation network, as you can imagine. Got to know a lot of the owners, managers, coaches, etc. And along the way, got an opportunity to buy the Peninsula Panthers, who my son was playing for at the time, which is a junior B team in the Vancouver Island Junior Hockey League. So we decided as a family to move forward with it. It's a lot of work for a break-even project. It's a lot of work. It's a passion play for sure. It's not a retirement play. It's not a money-making, but again, it's a community situation. So we were able to buy that. We had an unfortunate incident where our office burnt down in 2008. And we were running the business from my home, and both Val, my wife, and I decided that it was a good opportunity. We had someone knocking on the door to sell the team. We sold the team. Not long, a few years after that, the team was put into bankruptcy by the team by who we sold to.
Yeah.
So we got the opportunity to buy it back from the league again. We did that again as a community play, as with a partner, owned it for another 8 years, wound up selling it again. So we're proud that we kept the Peninsula Panthers, and they've won some championships along the way and produced people like Paul Haysom, Check TV,
Check zone, yep.
into the community, and then along the way we also got a chance to buy the Victoria Grizzlies Junior A team. We did that again, another financial situation where we were able to save the team, and proud that we were able to do that. Did that with a group of people, and then finally we were able to save the Victoria Harbour Cats out of bankruptcy as well, which is the local baseball team in the West Coast baseball league here. Very proud of that organization. Still involved in it, as you know. We've expanded it to Nanaimo, and it's just a fun community event, I believe. Again, it's not a financial win by any means. Breaking even is the win in the business of sports, but it is it is fun. It's a nice day at the park, and I'm proud of what that business brings to this community.
But those are very important elements of our community to have those sports
I think
attractions.
so.
They're attractions. They bring people together.
Absolutely.
It's a distraction from the day-to-day worries that
Yep.
we all have,
hmm
and it's a great thing. So, if you could own any sports franchise of any kind anywhere, what team would you want to own?
It would be a tie. It'd be
Oh, a tie. I
yeah.
thought it was. I thought I would knew what the
I
answer would be,
know,
but
it depends on, given that it's July and you know what's happening right now with my Jays on a roll,
Yeah.
although they lost today.
Okay.
It would be the Toronto Blue Jays or the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
One of the two. One of the two. The Seattle Seahawks would be a close third. So those
Okay.
are my teams, and I would love to be, even if I didn't get a chance to own, which I won't get a chance to own the way the business of sport is these days, but I would love to be, even to spend a week or a day in the management of those teams to see the behind the scenes of it. So
And by the way, who is the dominant team in the major leagues right now in baseball? It's
yeah,
the
it's some team called the Tigers,
the Detroit
Tigers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. My team. Okay, John Wilson is taking over the reins at the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce, so we're going to talk about a little business stuff next. John Wilson with us today on Chamber Chats. He is the incoming CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce as I'm stepping down and John is stepping in. So there's things that you as a board member and as a friend, we've talked about these things for a long time. You're going to be in the middle of the conversations, for example, about public safety downtown. Where's your head at with that right now?
All over the place, to be honest with you. I mean, I feel for the business owners down there that are, you and I were at a meeting recently that were very passionate meeting, probably the most passionate meeting I've ever had been at in Victoria, of small business owners who, through no fault of their own, businesses are struggling because of the downtown situation. And something needs to be done for sure. I'm not saying there's a one fix solution or at any one level of government, but I think all three levels of government need to stop talking about it and start some action. And I think that's what we heard at that meeting, that people are tired of talking about it. It's affecting their business, it's affecting their employees, and they want to see some action, whether minor or major, but something moving forward. I think the city has looked at this 99-point plan. It may be a little ambitious for as far as how quickly it can be implemented.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest holdback on it, is that from what I heard and from what I hear from people, they want some things implemented quickly. That said, and you've mentioned this before, we still have a very beautiful downtown Victoria.
Oh, yeah.
We need to continue to promote that it is safe for the most part for people to come down and work. But as the chamber, we are the voice of business. We need to support our members if they feel that there's no more policing needed, more recovery, and I think we can all agree with that, with the addiction process and things like that. Then we have to be advocate for that and be their voice, and I'm fully prepared to do that. And but I still believe that Victoria is far from, the city of Victoria proper is far from gone, and we some minor adjustments leading to some more major adjustments can make it the city that we all love and know for now and for our children and grandchildren of the future.
Yeah. We, of course, are the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
So across all municipalities, not just Victoria, the issue of taxes comes up all the time. Property taxes are going up. Business taxes are going up. All of that stuff needs to be dealt with. We've heard various business leaders say, stop spending money.
Yeah.
Stop raising money. Stop taxing it. Stop spending money.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be the future of that? How's that going to change?
Well, we really need to speak to the politicians of the day. I think politicians all, for the most part, have their heart in the right place. They want to do well. Unfortunately, some of them come from a place that they don't have the acumen or the background, if you will, to do the job that's needed, and perhaps maybe they didn't understand what they were getting into. Signing, I've talked about it many times, about signing both sides of a paycheck is it's a big responsibility, and some of these cities, municipalities have large budgets, and I do not think the politicians of the day getting into some of these jobs understand this. Now, I don't think they get in to be malicious and make
Nope.
bad decisions, but bad decisions have been made. And you talked about it earlier. They stopping spending money is a key point. The property taxes that have just gone out have rocked some businesses, and you mentioned not just City of Victoria, right
Across the
across
board.
the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
And there's only a certain amount of give that these businesses can take in whether they own the property or whether they're on triple net leases. They're paying for it, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough if they cannot start to rein in some of these increases. We talk about needs and wants. We do that in our own personal lives. We have needs. We have our mortgage payment, our food, our daycare, other clothes for our children, things like that. These are our needs. We have to take care of these first, and sometimes the wants have to wait. And that's where municipal council, provincial, and federal need to understand it's time to look after the needs of the community first, and keep our citizens safe, keep our economy flowing, and stop the increases of taxes.
It's impacting the resilience of business to drive our economy. And that's kind of the bottom line. And that's what we as a chamber sort of represent. So to wrap it up, what do you think is going to happen in the next 12 months? What do you want to accomplish in the first year as the chamber CEO?
Well, that's a lot to ask
I know.
because you accomplish a lot and have accomplished a lot. So, we want to just carry on a lot of the good work that you and and the team at the chamber have done. We want to make sure that our membership is stable. Be there for be our members through good times and bad. Continue that communication, the advocacy work at all levels of government, and continue to be a voice for business in the community. You've done a phenomenal job. I want to thank you. As
Thank you.
you came in during the pandemic, and
Yeah.
I was the chair at the time, and it was some struggle. It was a challenge, and you and I and the board and the staff, we made it through. And there was times I didn't know if we would. And
I agree.
your leadership has been invaluable. This community has a big thank you for the work you've done,
Thank you.
and I look forward to just moving in the same positive direction that you've brought this chamber to date.
Thank you. You're very kind. The chamber is in good hands, as you can see, with my friend John Wilson taking on the role of CEO. And all that's been accomplished in my time there over the past 5 years is the work of the remarkable chamber team, which is the staff and the board of directors, and of course our members too. A special thank you to Rob Germain and the team here at Czech Media, and to Aaron, who's been the engineer behind this whole thing for the last 4.5 years, and mostly to all of you. Thank you so much for the support that you've shown me and the chamber. It's victoriachamber.ca if you want to find out more about joining, becoming a member, or becoming more involved. Thank you for all you enabled me to do. It's been a lot of fun. I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be around. And as I said at a farewell event, try and be the change that you want to see. I'll issue that as a challenge to you. Thank you all for everything, and enjoy. It's been a pleasure.